Found a snowy Christmas Eve, a single mom and her son lose everything. Hope, joy, even their livelihood. But just when they think all is lost, a mysterious stranger leaves something on their doorstep that changes their lives forever. What happens next will warm your heart and restore your faith in humanity. Stay till the end to witness the miracle of compassion in action. Comments below, where are you watching from? And if you like and love our story, kindly subscribe our channel, Life Inspirational and Motivational Tales that explore themes of love, unity, and patriotism. Stay with us always for interesting stories. Thanks. Let's start the story. On a cold December evening, snow blanketed the small town of Maplewood, muffling the distant laughter and cheer of holiday festivities. The air carried the aroma of roasted chestnuts and the faint sound of carolers singing in the square. However, one small corner of the town stood in stark contrast to the merriment. A quaint bookstore, once a vibrant hub of warmth and stories, sat in darkness. Its shattered windows and closed sign painted a picture of despair. Inside, Emma sat slumped behind the counter, her face wet with tears. The empty cash register before her was a harsh reminder of the robbery that had taken everything she'd worked for. Across the room, her teenage son Ben huddled on a worn-out couch, his knees pulled to his chest. His soft voice broke the silence. "Mom, what are we gonna do now? Christmas is ruined." Emma looked at her son, her heart breaking at the hopelessness in his words. She wanted to comfort him, but she had no answers. The bookstore had been their livelihood, their dream, and now it was gone. Outside, Ryan trudged along the snow-covered sidewalk, his breath forming clouds in the icy air. His bright red cap stood out against the white landscape, the letters USA embroidered in bold print. The cap often drew whispers and judgmental stares, but Ryan wore it without apology. A retired Marine, he had faced enough challenges in life to let others' opinions bother him. As he passed the darkened shop, he noticed the broken windows and the dim light glowing faintly inside. Through the frosted glass, Ryan saw Emma, her shoulders shaking as she wiped away tears. His gaze shifted to Ben, sitting silently, his face etched with sorrow. Ryan's steps slowed. He could feel their pain as if it were his own, memories of his own struggles bubbling to the surface. He paused for a moment, adjusting his cap. "Not this time," he muttered under his breath. "Not on my watch." Ryan turned and walked away, his mind racing. Over the years, he had learned the importance of giving back, of stepping up when others needed help. As he walked home, an idea began to take shape, a plan to restore hope to Emma and Ben, a family on the brink of despair. The next morning, Maplewood's town square buzzed with holiday excitement. Children bundled in colorful scarves tugged their parents toward stalls selling toys, ornaments, and steaming mugs of cocoa. Strings of lights hung from every lamppost, casting a warm glow over the cobblestone streets. Yet, on the quieter side of town, Emma's bookstore remained dark and lifeless, its spirits barren and its spirit crushed. Emma stared at the empty shop, her thoughts consumed by bitterness and frustration. She had poured her savings into building a place where stories could bring joy to others. Now, it was nothing more than a hollow shell. "It's hopeless," she muttered to herself. Ben, however, refused to give up. In the evenings, he sat by their tiny Christmas tree, crafting ornaments from scraps of paper and string. "Mom," he said one night, hanging a star on the bare branches, "miracles can happen, right? Maybe someone will help us." Emma scoffed, her voice sharp with sarcasm. "Ben, miracles don't pay the bills. We have to face reality." Her words stung, but Ben held on to his optimism. That night, as Emma sat silently at the counter, he knelt by the tree and whispered a quiet prayer. "Please, let us have hope again." "Everything's okay," he said, embracing her and wiping the tears away. We can do this. If only you trust us." Brian spent the next day preparing. At the grocery store, he filled his cart with essentials: bread, canned goods, and a turkey. At the local toy shop, he picked out a model airplane for Ben and a journal for Emma. He even stopped by a hardware store, gathering supplies to help repair the broken windows of the bookstore. Sitting at his kitchen table later that evening, Ryan carefully wrapped the gifts. His hands, rough from years of service, moved with surprising precision as he tied the ribbons. Alongside the gifts, he placed an envelope containing enough money to help Emma get back on her feet. As he worked, he thought about the times when strangers had shown him kindness during his darkest days. "Now, it's my turn," he whispered. On Christmas Eve, the streets of Maplewood glimmered with lights as families gathered to celebrate. The sounds of laughter and music filled the air, but Emma's home remained quiet. She sat at the kitchen table, her head in her hands, while Ben busied himself adding final touches to their tree. Just before midnight, Ryan loaded his truck with the wrapped gifts and groceries. Wearing his signature red cap, he made his way to Emma's house. The street was silent as he approached their doorstep, his boots crunching softly in the snow. He carefully arranged the packages, ensuring the envelope was tucked beneath the largest box. With a deep breath, he rang the doorbell and stepped back into the shadows. Inside, Emma and Ben froze at the sound of the bell. "Who could it be at this hour?" Emma muttered, rising to answer. When she opened the door, her breath caught. The porch was filled with beautifully wrapped gifts, bags of groceries, and a thick envelope. "Mom, look!" Ben exclaimed, his eyes wide with excitement. He knelt by the packages, his hands trembling as he opened the first one. Inside was the model airplane he had admired in the shop window weeks ago. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "It's a Christmas miracle." A moment later, Emma picked up the envelope, her hands shaking. Inside was a stack of bills and a simple note. "For a fresh start. Merry Christmas." She stared at the words, her heart overwhelmed with gratitude and disbelief. "Who could have done this?" she murmured. The next morning, Emma and Ben woke to a Christmas unlike any they had imagined. Their small home was filled with warmth and laughter as they opened the gifts. Ben's joy was infectious, and for the first time in weeks, Emma felt a spark of hope. She resolved to rebuild her life, starting with the bookstore. Later that day, Emma visited her neighbor, Mrs. Taylor, hoping to uncover the identity of their mysterious benefactor. When Emma described the late-night delivery, Mrs. Taylor smiled knowingly. "That sounds like Ryan," she said. "He's always helping others. He may not show it, but he's got a heart of gold." Emma's face flushed with guilt as she remembered her dismissive remarks about Ryan in the past. She had judged him without truly knowing him, and now, his kindness had saved her family's Christmas. The following day, Emma and Ben walked up the path to Ryan's modest home. Emma's hands were clammy, and her heart pounded as she rehearsed what she wanted to say. When Ryan opened the door, he looked surprised to see them. "Emma, Ben," he greeted them warmly. "What brings you here?" Emma took a deep breath. "Ryan, I know it was you. The gifts, the money, everything. I don't know how to thank you, and I'm sorry. I judged you without ever knowing you. I was wrong." Ryan waved off her apology with a smile. "You don't need to thank me or apologize, Emma. I just wanted to make sure you and Ben had the Christmas you deserved." "I'm sure you did, but now, I think." "But why?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. Ryan's gaze softened. "Because I've been there. I know how it feels to lose hope. Someone helped me once when I needed it the most, and I promised myself I'd do the same for others when I could. Ben stepped forward, his face glowing with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Ryan. You gave us the best Christmas ever." And he left. Ryan crouched to meet Ben's eyes. "You're welcome, Ben. Just remember to always believe in the good in people." In the weeks that followed, Emma's perception of Ryan transformed. She saw the selflessness and compassion that defined him, and her once cynical outlook began to fade. Inspired by his kindness, Emma started a Pay It Forward campaign in the community, encouraging others to help those in need. Ben, too, was inspired. He began volunteering at a local shelter, sharing his story and spreading hope. The spirit of generosity that Ryan had sparked rippled through Maplewood, bringing the town closer together. On New Year's Eve, Emma invited Ryan over for dinner. Their home, once filled with sorrow, now radiated warmth and joy. As they shared a meal, Emma raised her glass and said, "To kindness and second chances." Ryan smiled, lifting his own glass. "To hope and the strength that gives us all." The evening ended with laughter and stories, but the impact of Ryan's actions would last far beyond the holidays. Emma and Ben had not only regained hope, but also learned the importance of compassion and understanding. Emma's story is a reminder of the power of kindness and the lasting impact it can have. Ryan's quiet humility and willingness to help changed not just one family's Christmas, but an entire community. In the end, it's not the size of the gesture that matters, but the heart behind it. Have you ever experienced a moment when someone's kindness changed your life? Share your story and spread inspiration. Together, we can create a world filled with hope and understanding. Comments below, where are you watching from? And if you like and love our story, kindly subscribe our channel, Life Inspirational and Motivational Tales that explore themes of love, unity, and patriotism. Stay with us always for interesting stories.